Well, good afternoon, everyone. I didn't even manage to record this in the morning because I have travelled over to Colchester to spend a day with my godmother. You might be able to notice the slightly 70s look of the curtains and I don't even know what the proper word is, but at the back of the chair here goes to show that I'm somewhere where maybe someone a little bit older might live. I wonder if you've got a godmother. I wonder when you last spent some time with a godmother or a godfather. I wonder what stories you've got with them. But anyway, I'm spending a day with my godmother. So we've had some fish and chips, and now it is time for me to share a little bit about our Bible reading today. So I'm just going to read it first. It's from Mark 4, and I'm starting at verse 21. And it says this: Jesus also said, "You don't light a lamp and put it under a clay pot or under a bed. Don't you put a lamp on a lampstand? There is nothing that will not be made public. There is no secret that will not be well known. If you have ears, pay attention. Listen carefully to what you hear. The way you treat others will be the way you are treated, and even worse. Everyone who has something will be given more, but people who don't have anything will lose what little they have." Again, Jesus said, "God's kingdom is like what happens when a farmer scatters seed in a field. The farmer sleeps at night and is up and around during the day. Yet the seeds keep sprouting and growing, and he doesn't even understand how. It is the ground that makes the seeds sprout into plants that produce again. Then when harvest comes and the grain is ripe, the farmer cuts it with a sickle." Finally, Jesus said, "What is God's kingdom like? What story can I use to explain it? It is like what happens when a mustard seed is planted in the ground. It is the smallest seed in the world, but once it is planted, it grows larger and larger than any garden plant. It even puts out branches that are big enough for birds to nest in its shade." Jesus told many other stories when he spoke to the people, and he taught them as much as they could understand. He did not tell them anything without using stories. But when he was alone with his disciples, he explained everything to them. Interesting, isn't it? Right at the end there, he didn't tell them anything without using stories. I love hearing a story, a good story in a sermon. Something relates it to what I know. And that's what Jesus was so good at. He used these parables, these stories about things that people would already know. They were a farming community, and he used them to explain what he wanted to talk about. So, what did he want to talk about in this particular passage? Well, I think it is all to do with our faith, what we believe. We talk about faith as small as a mustard seed, and how just that tiny little bit of faith that is small as a mustard seed, if it is planted in the ground, it will grow and grow. So it is bigger than any other plant, so big that other animals, birds will be able to nest in its branches. And there's another place where he says that this seed is scattered into a field, and even though the farmer doesn't know what's happening, it just grows because the soil is good. The farmer doesn't understand why, but it grows and it grows until finally he can cut it down with a sickle and replant the seeds again. That's like our faith. And the soil is like our hearts. And there's a bit in here where it asks, it says, if you have lots, you will grow more. If you don't have anything, you'll lose even what you have. And it's not talking about what we own. It's talking about what we have in our hearts. Are our hearts ready to receive more? If our hearts are ready to learn about God, are ready to try and be more Jesus-like, if we are kind of like receptive to the words that we hear in the Bible, then that tree of faith will grow and grow and grow to such an extent that, believe it or not, people will see what you do and who you are and how you treat others, and it will direct them towards God, because that is the reason that you do it. Right at the very beginning, there is that verse where it says you wouldn't put a lamp underneath a bushel, you'd put it on a lampstand. You have this faith. It might be very small at the moment. It might be almost insignificant. And you might think, I'm not even sure what I believe. But that little seed of faith that could grow and grow and grow, put it on a pedestal. Don't be ashamed. Be proud of who you can be with God in your heart, with Jesus as the way you're looking forward. Never be ashamed of what you believe. Have a fantastic day, everyone. See you soon.